Welcome to this new video, and in this video we're going to talk about how you prepare your tax declaration properly and also what you should consider after you file taxes so you won't have any issues with the tax office in Germany. So let's get started. When we talk about a proper tax return, we first of all need to talk about the accounting itself and also evidence of your costs, so especially any proof that you had certain expenses. So what you should do in the first place when we talk about the accounting is that you have any kind of, let's say, Google Drive folder or Dropbox folder, you name it. So let's say you have a Google Drive folder. Then you should name this folder, let's say Tax Declaration 2022. If you open this folder, you have here income and you have expenses, where you upload all the invoices. Let's say you click on this folder, then it opens, let's say Jan, February, March, and so on. And then you can just upload all the invoices, or let's say for your income, if you're employed, your salary statement, for example, especially the Lohnsteuerbescheinigung in the beginning of the following year. Okay, this is how you make sure that you always have all the necessary documents available, especially long term, because you need this evidence for at least 7 years. Which means if you declare your tax for 2022, they might come back to you in 2026 having questions regarding your tax declaration. They might want to see the receipts, and if you don't have the receipts handy, then you might have issues. And having issues with the tax office in Germany is one of the things you should definitely avoid here in Germany. So this is how you do the accounting. If you work with a tax advisor, you can just upload this folder via any cloud, or you just send this folder to your tax advisor. Depends how digital your tax advisor is actually working. This is for the accounting, applies to employed people and also being self-employed as a freelancer, for example. Now, evidence. You always need proof that you had a certain income, or let's say as a freelancer that you had a certain invoice which generated you income, and also evidence for all the costs you had. It's pretty easy if you had any cost position. So let's say you bought a book, How Do I Become a Better Software Engineer? In that case, it would be tax deductible. So if you buy this book, it's not sufficient if you just have a bank transaction. What you need is the receipt. So if you have the receipt or you have any invoice, this makes it tax deductible because then you have the proof that you had this specific expense. What now comes on top is that let's say you had maintenance. Okay, you supported your family back home. So maintenance payments, maintenance costs. It's not enough if you just send money to your parents' account, let's say. So what you need here, for example, are bank receipts. Then you have to prove that they are your parents. Because only direct line would be tax deductible. So parents, grandparents, children, sisters, brothers, cousins, not tax deductible. So you need any proof that they're your parents. Let's say in many passports, the names of the parents are mentioned, and the soft copy of the passport would be sufficient. And what you also need, of course, we are in Germany, you need a specific form which needs to be signed by the authority back home, which proves the income status of your parents, that they need your financial support. So it's an extraordinary burden for you, which makes it tax deductible for you. Now you see how it works. You always need proof that you had a specific expense. Now you might say, well, Maybe I'm just getting started with my Google Drive folder. I don't have receipts. The receipts are gone and so on. What you can do, and this is a really, really good trick, is you can create a so-called, let's make it a bit bigger. You can create a so-called Eigenbeleg. You can Google that and then you immediately find sample forms. Eigenbeleg, which means in English, own receipt. So you create your own receipt and you just mention on this receipt that you lost the receipt or you didn't receive any invoice. The invoice was abroad and let's say any visa costs and you didn't keep the invoice. Then you create an Eigenbeleg yourself because remember, it's only tax deductible if you have evidence. So if you don't have evidence, you just create evidence yourself. The tax office must accept this so-called Eigenbeleg, so own receipt. If you prepare your tax declaration properly, even if you don't work with a tax advisor and you just do it by yourself, please keep that in mind. Nothing can happen even if the tax office has any questions in, let's say, 5 years. Okay? If you need any help with a good tax strategy, or you would just like to file your taxes properly, reach out. You can talk to one of our tax advisors and then we will see how we can help you. So visit our website and we will see what we can do for you. Talk to you soon and take care.